Welcome back to the Relius Reviews. Today's review is focused on the series finale of Claws, Season 4, Episode 10, entitled Chapter 10, Mercy. And here is my review on this episode. Episode 10, the final episode of the series to me. It was a pretty interesting episode, but the send-off though, it was pretty good. So here is my review on episode 10. So the episode begins immediately where episode 9 ended off, with Clay, Quiet Daddy, dead. Dr. Ken comes to help out Bryce and everything else, and the girls are trying to figure out what to do next and everything. Polly comes up with an idea to write a suicide note, basically making it seem as if like Uncle Daddy confessing that he killed Tony the Snitch and that he did everything else, and everybody else just agrees to it and all. We get to see a lot of just various flashbacks throughout the entire episode of good moments, bad moments between Desna and the gang, how Desna escaped out of trouble, Bryce and Jen, their mess, the gang during good times and everything. Like, this episode definitely had a lot of just many flashbacks to it. Polly receives some good news that her inheritance from Baron's estate has finally arrived, which will definitely help with the gang escaping. Quiet Ann decides to visit Dean and Eve with her baby and everything because she's having a little bit of some problems with her pregnancy, etc. But at the meantime, Quiet Ann is eavesdropping, of course, and hears about the escape plan that Desna is making and everything. And it seems as if like Quiet Ann is about to sing again. But this time we see that the DEA is starting to put pressure on Quiet Ann when it comes to information, because apparently Quiet Ann has not been doing that good of a job with relaying information to the DEA about what is going on with the gang. Bryce and Jen, in the meanwhile, they're still having some problems in their relationship, but Polly is definitely a true friend, as somehow, some way, she is able to get back their kids, and it's just a huge family reunited situation, as Jen had no intentions of leaving Palmetto Beach without her kids and Bryce, and now that everybody is back together, the plan continues. But just as when things are going good at first, a huge curveball is thrown as police comes out of nowhere and arrests Virginia for the murder of Georgia, as apparently there was some cameras that saw Georgia and Virginia during the night of Georgia's death. And to make things worse, police has a lot of just evidence. I think Georgia's cell phone that just makes Virginia as the main culprit of her murder. And due to pressure, Virginia immediately somewhat confesses to the crimes, and she gets locked up. Anne decides to visit her and everything. Virginia tries to encourage Anne to forgive Desna for all that has happened, but Quiet Ann is nowhere with that emotion. Virginia is just like, she accepts her fate and she's just gonna go to jail, etc. But then we see Dr. Ken and another lady dressed up as ICE workers saying that Virginia is basically, she's illegal and she's a psychotic killer. And I don't know how that worked, but Virginia gets out of jail just like that. And the plan is continuing to happen as they have like 2 hours to escape before DEA comes in swarming. Polly and Dr. Ken, they talk once more for the last time, and Polly is continuing to show why she is a real OG, in my opinion, as she gives Dr. Ken his new place where he could finally be a doctor and help out patients of his own without no interference from Desna or Uncle Daddy. The DEA has gotten information about the gang's whereabouts, and they try to stop all of that before it is far too late, as Quiet Ann decides to snitch on Desna's plan. And the final showdown between the two happens. Desna versus Quiet Ann. They have a strong hatred of words between the two of each other, and a crazy shootout happens. Long story short, Desna basically puts Quiet Ann on a t-shirt, and the DEA soon arrives, as well as the gang. And it is just a crazy, crazy situation all around. The gang continues to escape on a boat, but they fail to realize that Anne placed a bomb on the boat. And while they're sailing, basically the boat basically explodes, and it seems as if like everybody is now a shirt. Like everybody is now a shirt. A huge time jump later of 2 months shows that everyone basically died on the boat. And sometime later, Dr. Ken visits Dean and Eve. Dean has been extremely depressed about everything that has happened with Desna, but he leaves him a gift. As a gift is basically a tape, and the tape just reveals that Desna and the gang is still alive. And it also just reveals that Desna and Quiet had already made up long ago, and they had plotted a scheme together to basically set everything in motion with the escape plan. Tony, the DEA, Uncle Daddy, etc. Like they all had a huge plan in motion of escaping. And honestly, I don't understand how Desna and Quiet Ann were able to come up with everything that they did when it came to the escape plan, because it just doesn't make that much sense. Like, how were they able to like figure things out with the small amount of time that they had? But we find out what happened to the gang as the gang escaped to Cuba, and everybody is just having their time of their life. Roller's fate is somewhat revealed as Desna and Roller are somewhat still together, as Desna is going to be seeing Roller sometime soon. The gang reminisce on all of the crazy things that has happened during the last 4 seasons, and it seems as if like everybody is on a positive, good note, to say the least. And the episode basically ends with just Quiet Ann's water breaking, and that's how it ends. And it's known that she was expecting a baby girl, so I guess Quiet Ann had a daughter. Yeah. Season 4 to me, it was a fine season. Like, there really wasn't that much wrong about it. Like, it was cool to me, in my honest opinion. I would say maybe some of the things that I did not like about season 4 was probably some of the story plots that it had, and maybe some things just felt a little bit rushed at times. And I can't believe that is really it, but sadly it is. All of the actors that was involved in the show, they was absolutely awesome for 4 seasons, and I'm definitely going to miss them. But I would give out my rating for season 4 of Claws. I would say that Claws season 4 is 3.5 stars out of 5. So thanks for watching, and until next time, as always, goodbye.